Hi, Mark and Tamil Kenny with Think Multifamily. We're here to talk to you today about Step 4, Deal Analysis. Mark, what are the documents that somebody would need if they were trying to analyze an apartment deal?
Yeah, so ideally you're going to get what's called an OM or offer memorandum. This is we talked about this in previous steps too. It's going to be the document that the broker puts together with their projections and rental income, things like that. So that's one. Okay. But you don't always get it. If it's off market, you're not going to get it. You're going to also want a T12, or called the trailing 12. That's the profit and loss for the last 12 months. All the revenue, all the expenses, things like that.
Okay.
And then you're going to have the rent roll. Rent roll is going to show all the people living at the property, what they're paying, when they moved in, when they're moving out, and what you're looking for mostly there too is occupancy. You want to look to see, is anyone paying market rent or above market rent? How many people pay below market rent? So those are the three documents ideally that you're going to get. Like I said, you don't always get them all on a deal, and some people, if they're kind of dealing with a smaller seller, the information they get might not be very good at all. But most of the larger brokerage firms, they're going to give you all three of those documents.
Okay, so if you're dealing with a mom and pop and maybe you're getting this deal off market, if they don't have any of this stuff put together for you, how do you find numbers in order to make a good decision?
And it doesn't exist. So unless you're going to pay cash for it, you're going to have a really hard time getting a loan if you can't produce documents. Why would a lender give you money if you can't even prove what the property's doing?
Right.
If you have bank statements and it had something, maybe if they had a general ledger or something like that, maybe you could do that. But the lender's going to want T12, and they're going to rent roll as well. So pretty tough.
Okay.
Not impossible, but tough.
Awesome. So let's just assume you have all of this and you're dealing with a broker who's got their act together. Are there some other rules of thumb when you're analyzing a deal that you want to share with our audience?
Yeah, so our detail analyzer goes through a bunch, and we have multiple tabs. We have about 30 checks that we run through to kind of help find errors, for example, or things to look at further. Rule of thumb, we also have industry standards in that document, in an analyzer to say, hey, payroll, for example, let's say it's $1,100, $1,200 per unit per year. That's $120,000 for a 100-unit property per year.
Right.
Right. So just because the person operating today is paying $700 per unit per year, you're not going to be able to do that unless you're doing it yourself. So having those industry standards, rules of thumb, we look for a lot of other things too, like break-even occupancy. So we run through a lot of checks on detail analyzer. But it takes a while for people to start getting really good at analyzing deals. So one way to do it is look at kind of a quick and dirty analyzer, which we'll kind of talk about here too. The benefit of the quick and dirty, twofold. One, even if you're brand new, don't know much how to analyze a deal, you can use this. There's no reason you can't. And two, it's just a really quick way to run through a bunch of deals. So in a matter of a couple minutes, I could run through a deal to figure out, is it even close to what I'm trying to do. So if I run through this and the price is $10,000, they're asking $12,000, $15,000, whatever it is, maybe it's not close enough for me to look at.
Right.
So it's pretty simple, and I'll kind of put a couple asterisks on here too. You have the gross potential rent. That's all the rent that could be collected if every single unit was rented for market and every single unit was occupied. Okay. Market rent. You're going to take out what's called economic vacancy. Economic vacancy is a few things. One, it's the physical vacancy, people that don't live there. Right? It's going to be people that live there but don't pay.
Hopefully not very many.
Yeah, it can happen. People that live there and pay below market, and then concessions. So all of that.
And what are concessions?
Concessions is like an incentive for someone to move in. I'm going to give you a month free or $100 off, or maybe. Okay. General rule of thumb for that, for me, is it needs to be at least 10%. If you see someone's performance that's lower than that, it can be potentially, but that's a general rule of thumb there. So I have all the money I could collect. I take out my economic vacancy, it gives me my net rental income. Okay, that's what I actually collected. Okay. Now you have other income. I'll put an asterisk here too, I'll tell you why. Other income is going to be pet fees, application fees, maybe RUBS, which is billing back, ratio utility billing system, billing back your utilities, things like that. So net rental income plus other income gonna be total income. It's all the income I've collected, right?
Right.
So the reason I put asterisks next to these two is we go through this, once you start learning the rules of thumb, which we have as well and provide, this blue item here, gross potential rent, and other income, those are the only two items I really need from a broker or seller. Everything else I can use rules of thumb for this quick and dirty analyzer.
Okay.
So I've gone through, right? Gross potential rent, minus economic vacancy, net rental income, other income, I have a total income. Now I take out my expenses. General rule of thumb there is about 50% for expenses if I don't know anything else. So 50% of the revenue will be expenses. Just a general rule of thumb. Doesn't mean everyone's going to be that way, but you'd be surprised how close that is in a lot of deals. Take that out, gives me net operating income. Won't go into a lot of details here again, but remember how important that net operating income is, because every dollar I can increase my NOI, right? Either through expense reduction or increasing my revenue, right? It's like $15 of value. I can turn around and someone will give me $15 of value for that. I have my NOI, I divide it by a cap rate for the market. Okay. And that's going to give me their price, but that's price excluding rehab, meaning I'm not going to pay someone necessarily if they had to budget deferred maintenance, meaning, you know, I need to, whatever, stuff's falling apart and things like that. So you get the price, but then I would also take out money for rehab, for the deferred maintenance, and that's going to give you estimated price. I say estimated because I would never submit an LOI, letter of intent, based on this price. I would never make an offer, period, on it. But if it came close, this estimated price was close to what they're asking, then I would say, well, you know what, I'm gonna look at this further. Then that's when I go in there, a detailed analyzer that has all the rules and checking and a lot more information that has to be put in there. But the whole idea of this, and you'll see as you start getting good at it, in a matter of a couple minutes, if I have these two pieces of information, gross potential rent, other income, I can blow through a deal very, very quickly and decide, is it close enough for me to look at further, yes or no?
Okay.
But I would say, just in general, this is very quick, right?
Right.
The detailed analysis is extremely detailed. You can make one mistake on your detailed analysis and blow the entire deal and not even know you did it.
Yeah.
You could get a lot of things, you get a couple small things wrong that completely blows the deal. So, you know, I probably analyzed over 1,000 deals. You don't have to analyze 1,000 deals to get good at it, but you need to analyze a number of deals. We provide a deal analysis, training material. We also have a 1.5 day class we do on deal analysis, and it's really to help those people. You bring your own computer, you work through deals with us, and you will be surprised how much you can learn on deal analysis by doing that.
Great. So I have a question for you. You said the estimated price is about what you feel you should pay for the property before you go into the full analysis. How do you know what they're asking to even see if you are remotely close to what they're asking? Right.
So that's one case you do not want to guess. Okay.
Right.
So it's not uncommon where the pricing in the OEM we talked about on the previous page, right? We'll have TBD, to be determined. You're like, oh my goodness, I don't know what the price is, right?
Yeah, right.
Don't waste your time doing all these things, trying to guess what the price is. Call the broker and ask them what the whisper price or strike price, whatever you want to call it. Ask them. Every single case, they'll tell you. I've never had one not tell me what they think the price is going to be, because they're not going to try to sell a property if they don't have an idea of the price.
Right.
They don't get paid unless they sell it. So that's a very important point. You want to actually have a contact with a broker if the price is not in the offer memorandum, and ask them what the price is.
Okay, and then up here you said cap rate. Where do I find out what the market cap rate is?
So this you have to be careful on. One reason is because a lot of people look at the T12, we talked about the trailing 12, to figure out what the going in cap rate is. I talked before, I think that's a little bit meaningless because you're basing it on what is being done today. What you want to know is what's the cap rate for the sub-market. And there are different ways to get that, different reports. Yardi has them. CBRE has a free report they provide quarterly that has the cap rates for multifamily and office building and things like that. But very, very important, this is the cap rate for the sub-market, not necessarily, which may or may not be the cap rate for the property.
Okay. And then I have one more question. When we were talking about rules of thumb with expenses, you talked about pulling from your revenue. Are we talking about net rental income? Because nowhere on here did you write revenue. So is there another more
yeah,
word?
the rental income, basically, the total income.
So
total income.
The total income.
Right, total
here.
income with other income included in there. So rough rule of thumb, 50% of your total income will be in expenses.
So if, just say I have $1 million here, then I could expect approximately $500,000 in expenses just to do this quick and dirty.
That's correct.
Okay, awesome. All right, I think
We have an app as well for this. Actually, I think I have it on my, I'll pull it up too. That you can run through a quick and dirty very quickly.
Yes.
And it just kind of has property defined, and it has everything I just showed up on the screen there. It has everything on there. But the advantage of this is that you can keep it in here, you can store it here, and there's also a tour app in there that walks through a bunch of the questions we talked about in step 5 as well, that has 50 questions to ask. So it's just kind of a quick way to do it, and you can do it right on the go on your phone as well.
Yeah, great. So I think that if all I need to do a quick and dirty is this number and this number, I think I can handle that.
You should be able to, hopefully.
All right, awesome. Well, that's all we have for step 4, deal analysis. Stay tuned for step 5. Bye for now.
Bye.